Hey guys, still sick. So I just was watching a video on YouTube about this INTP guy talking about some random stuff, and this comment on the video said, "INTP emotions, people. That's the way they exist." And so I just wanted to mention this one quick thing, and I thought it was a good point. I wanted to make a video and talk about more different stuff, but I don't think it's really appropriate at this moment for me to be making any kind of videos. I just wanted to say something real quick about INTPs is that specifically we do have emotions, we do have feelings. We pay attention to our feelings, just obviously not as much as some other types. Specifically, TI dominants have inferior FE as opposed to inferior FI or some other function, some other level in the stack. I think that inferior FE users are the least in touch with their feelings simply because, well, inferior FE. I just wanted to say that we do have emotions and that our emotions manifest themselves by attaching to our logic. And so actually, if you see in BBC's Sherlock, you can see at some points in the last season, I think it was the last season, I can't recall when, but it did show up at least once in the last season, where Sherlock gets emotionally frustrated, like really frustrated about this one case or this one question or this one thing he can't seem to crack, and you can see it specifically in that envelope. I think I can't remember the names, but the envelope said "Miss Me." I think that's the one. Anyway, so he put a knife on that envelope. That's an emotional reaction that he has based on something logical, which is a puzzle he could not solve. And actually, that old lady said that herself. She said that Sherlock can be a child sometimes, and that's the way it tends to come out. And this is a very INTP thing, I think, at least. And that we get really emotional in logical things, and our emotions are attached to our logic. That's the basic thesis of this video, I think. If there's any more time left in the video, it's most likely going to be empty stuff. But basically, what I'm trying to say here, what I meant to say, what I did say twice so far, is that our emotions manifest themselves in our logic. That's that's basically it. For example, I sometimes get emotional about my appearance, right? And it's not in the same way someone else, some other type would get emotional about their appearance in public. It's slightly different um, in that I like to be logically consistent even in my appearance. I like to be aesthetically consistent. So I like to, not in the colors and the types of clothes I wear, but in my overall figure. I think it's more about my physical form, my body itself, not the clothes that I wear. But it's also about the way the clothes portray my body. So I like to have a slim look. I like to have hair that doesn't look bad, in a very specific kind of bad way. And these are different definitions of what looks good, as opposed to what people think look good. So my definitions are much more logical, are much more like, they make no sense to someone other than me. And to me, I can't really explain what I think, what I want to look like. I can't explain it. So that's partly why it's so hard for me to get um, a haircut that I like. It's because I can't explain what I want. I don't know what it is. It's weird. I just know that I like it, or I know that I don't like it. And it's not about what people think. It's only about what I think. It's only about what I like, what I think. If I wear a clown costume and I like it, I'll go out in that. It doesn't matter. As long as I like it, that's enough for me. It's just that I don't know how to put into words what I like and what I don't like. And so that's why, and that's how or why I get emotional about my appearance. And if I go out looking like something that I don't like, it can make me very, very self conscious and very anxious. Every single moment, I'm so acutely aware of my appearance being not as good as I'd like it to be. And in a different day, I may look slightly different, but have a lot more self confidence in my appearance, even though someone else has, like, other people don't see how I look any different. They just don't see the differences. It's because, like, it's kind of like the language of what looks good versus what doesn't, or the language that communicates my appearance is different from the language society tends to use. And so that's why they don't see the differences that I see, and vice versa. Um, so I get kind of emotional on that. But at the same time, I don't really get emotional on someone and what someone else looks like. I don't really care. Um, I'm using myself here as an example just because I know myself subjectively very well. I don't know a lot about other people, not yet at least. I'm not very social, but I am becoming more social. Anyway, I'm using myself as an example and a subject INTP. And I know because I talk to a lot of INTPs, and I have plenty of INTP friends. I know how alike we are. So I know that what I'm saying here, what I'm talking about, does apply to them also, but in different facets of life. So in my case, it applies heavily on my appearance. I care a lot about my appearance. I don't like these little things here on my forehead. I fucking hate those so much. I don't like the way my beard is starting to look. It looks ugly. It looks dirty. It doesn't look very nice. I don't like the black shit around my eyes here. I don't like any of that. I like to look good, and I like the way I look right now. Um, it's kind of like my physical appearance is a is like a canvas, and I like it to look. Um, I like it to look. Uh, Visually appealing. And so I get emotional on that, and I know that other INTPs get emotional about their logic as well. My logic applies in this regard, but other INTPs' logic can apply in some other way. But but they do, like, our emotion. I mean, I think that emotion is like it's like a boost of energy towards a specific thing. So, like, feeling type people, their feelings I mean, their emotions or are oriented towards other people and social connections. Kind of. I'm oversimplifying here, but just go with me here. But our feelings and our emotions are oriented towards our logical goals, not social goals, but more like logical goals, outside of humanity goals, outside the scope of people and society. Um, and so, like, I could get emotional, like I do get emotional about the fact that I still don't really understand the topic of self-control and basically what the model ego depletion talks about. Now, nobody actually knows this, and I'm not gonna get it into what it is, but basically, it's an observation or phenomenon in humans, and how they not gonna get into it, but it's something in our psychology, basically there, something in our psychology that no one has yet been able to fully explain, and it has eluded scientists for decades. Uh, there's different models that try to explain it, but nothing is really proven yet. And I've been struggling to make sense of this crap my whole life. I have failed my whole life. It's the one thing that has really eluded me my whole life. I've never been able to really find a satisfying answer to it, ever. I mean, I've come to a satisfying answer even to questions relating to God and ethics. And so I'm satisfied in those topics, but not in this topic of self control. And because of this shit being so fucking elusive, I get emotional about it. This is how emotions tend to come out for INTPs. Um, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I'm not gonna keep talking about crap. I made the point in the beginning of the video, and the rest of it is just to further explain it. This video is probably not very enjoyable and entertaining, or it's not very enjoyable to watch in any regard, I assume. But it's content. If you're interested in in free empty content about INTPs and somebody who's stuttering, you got it. 12 minutes. Okay. Oh.